Hello, welcome. My name is Leah. I'm with Florida Native. My channel is Florida Native. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you are returning, welcome back. Wow, have you guys had a crazy week? I definitely am glad it's the end of the week. Not that it matters, every day is a great day. I'm grateful for all of the days. I just sprayed this lavender. I absolutely love lavender. You just spray it out. I don't know if anybody loves lavender. It is very relaxing. In this particular bottle, I end up getting in this little beach town called Fernandina Beach. And it's a really nice lavender. I believe it's from Washington or Oregon. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look at the label, which either way, it's from the West Coast. So it's a very nice quality lavender. It smells amazing. It's great for relaxing, and again, I enjoy the scent. So if you don't like it, then maybe there's other essential oils that you can use or you have in your arsenal of favorites that relaxes you and that you can enjoy just in your room, maybe in your body products, however you want to use it. I feel like I look really tired. It's just been, like I said, pretty busy. If you saw my earlier videos this week, my grandmother was admitted to the hospital. So that started, which was, Monday. So that was the new moon in Leo, and I believe it's Mercury's in retrograde right now. I'm not really sure. Again, that doesn't really affect me. I know a lot of people say that the energies or things kind of go wrong, or you're not supposed to make decisions or big decisions or sign contracts during the Mercury retrograde. If it's not right now, then I know it's coming up. So for those that are into astrology and go into the pay attention to the planets, everything has its meaning if you give that meaning to anything that you believe in. I'm never telling anybody what to do. I'm very accepting of everything, whatever leads you on your path, your spiritual path to a higher consciousness, your higher self, or God, your spiritual team, your angels, your ancestors that are definitely cheering you on the other side, because I don't believe in death. I believe that our spirit goes on to be with the Godhead. So our relatives and maybe that favorite grandmother or nana or grandparent or even uncle is on the other side, and they're also in a different space. They're no longer having that cloak, that veil that we must have while we're on earth, unless you do reach some type of enlightenment or something close to it and you can sustain it. A lot of people have had near-death experiences or profound spiritual experiences, but from what I understand and based on my own experience, it's not a state that really can be sustained, nor is it meant to, while we're here living our earthly life. Some people use ayahuasca, some people use the plant medicines, and that is a temporary state of consciousness. And although I've never done ayahuasca, I do not condemn it. Everyone has a right to experience whatever they want, and sometimes I know that I had a girlfriend a few years ago. She was battling alcohol, so she wanted to go. I'm not sure which country. I think it was in Costa Rica, and so she went to like a week long visit to do the plant medicine at. I'm not sure if it was a resort, but I don't know if it cured her, but perhaps she was able to get some insight on her own issue with alcohol and addiction. So, again, going back to the spiritual aspect of us learning things, and how you go about. Some people delve right in. Maybe you have gone to seminary school, or you've studied to be maybe a rabbi, or maybe you've delved in yoga and Hinduism or Buddhism, Sufism, Rosicrucian. Maybe some of you are Protestant, as opposed to being a Catholic. So there's many roads that are meant to lead us back to God, or lead us back to that all knowing, all loving, unconditional creator, that I call God. Maybe you call it something else. Really, there's no word that encompasses the all that is, that all I am presence, that universal, unconditional loving energy that we all come from, and the reason why we're all connected in the spiritual realm. And if you had had the grace to experience that in your life, then the best is yet to come for you, because it is amazing, and it gives you a different perspective on life in general, and what people, your perspective on human nature, and what other people, how they present themselves, whether it's good or bad. It's really not a good or bad, it's just maybe on the negative side or the positive side. Some people value material things like money and houses and status, and what they wear and what they drive and what areas that they live in, and that's totally fine. I'm not judging anyone if that's your purpose in life, and people have different purposes in life. We can't judge where people are, because spiritually, perhaps you have a different interest, right? And I have different interests as well. So I focus. That's what my channel is all about. Mainly is on the spiritual. And there are channels out there that focus on trading, real estate, cars, houses, building a business, and or investing, and I think that's wonderful. I have nothing against it, and I'm very interested in some of those topics as well. But my channel, and the purpose of my channel, is more to introduce, for those that haven't got on the spiritual path, or that have that curiosity of the other side, and what goes on behind the scenes, and issues of karma, and are there consequences for some of the things that might not maybe align so well and help others. Maybe things that we've done, things that you've done that wasn't necessarily aligned with God's will. And you know it. Everyone has that compass. Everyone has that filter. And they're able to discern right or wrong, positive, negative, your intentions. Sometimes people don't have that ability or the full grasp of their consequences of their actions, whether it be good or bad, whether it be positive or negative. Sometimes what we do in good faith and the energy that we put out, sometimes what we get back is even better than we could have possibly expected. A lot of us do things not to get things back per se, but to put in good energy in the world, because that's what feels good to us, and that's what instinctually or intuitively, that's your nature, or that's what you want to do. Or possibly you've done things in the past where you know that it's your actions weren't the best, and maybe it wasn't the best intention. Maybe it was something that was led by greed or fear or jealousy or envy, or that, again, how you look to other people, status and clout, these things. And again, I'm not judging it. A lot of people, a lot of souls come into the world to learn that, because perhaps they didn't learn that in a prior lifetime, or they just didn't learn that as when they were younger. Maybe maybe that soul or you came from a place where there wasn't the stability, or you didn't feel safe or stable monetarily. So perhaps your lesson in your lifetime is focused on the material. And it's really all about intention. It's really, that's what I talk about too, is our intention. Obviously, you never want to like screw people over and not use communication, but a lot of people do. And it hurts other people, because it's like, first of all, sometimes it hurts people mainly because you're, I feel, and I've had this situation, plenty of situations before, where it actually hurts because it's always involves with the ego. Now, we want to overcome this. Of course, you have to have a healthy ego. Ego is necessary in this earth plane, but when it is dominant, if it's a dominant energy, your ego, and there's no balance, and it's mainly what you can get and what you can get from people and your own survival, without thinking about, or without thinking about the consequences, and the not being considerate of others, that's going to balance out somewhere, sometime in your lifetime, or possibly the next, or maybe generationally. It's always, and everyone has different beliefs on that. What I've seen in my lifetime and I've experienced, I've paid a lot of karma. Or the balancing, it's a universal thing where, there are always consequences to, you could call it a consequence, or you can call it just a balancing. And I've done several videos on this, and sometimes it's not a direct knowing, but some of us do get those messages of direct knowing, because you could sense that. You can sense it. You have knowings. You get messages. You intuit. Some people have abilities where they get dreams to get a bigger picture, and that's why I talk about getting on that spiritual path and finding out what your gifts are, working on those, doing the right thing, doing the good things, positive things, help others, and in service. And a lot of the avatars, a lot of ascended masters, prophets, and Jesus himself did service to others, no matter what your religious background is, no matter what your spiritual background is, or whatever stories or lessons that you might have heard growing up, and hopefully you got the lesson from these stories that were shared through probably generations and millennia. So that's why I always say that you could even read in books today or watch a movie, and there's always life lessons, little nuggets of wisdom, and that's what is available to most everyone. Most everyone, if it's not a Bible, or if you read from the Old or the New Testament, or if you read from the Quran, or if you read from any of the texts, whatever is available for you, no matter where you are in the world. We all have the internet, most of us anyway, and we have access to that. So the the faster you, and it's never a competition, if you're interested in, you know, we were talking about getting to know yourself and knowing your abilities, because we're much more powerful. Obviously, we can't do anything without our Father, obviously, our Creator God, our Creator Mother God, Mother Father God. There's no gender per se. It's a balancing of masculine and feminine. So that's for another video. It is warm right now. I'm just going to, it's really humid here in Florida, so I'm going to have my little fan on here. These little fans are amazing. Usually that's why I have my hair up, because it's hot. But I'm going to spray a little bit of my, I usually have my Palo Santo, or I have my sage, but I'm going to spray some of my lavender. And this is just like lavender water. It's pretty strong, but I love it. So, have definitely been really busy doing a lot. Like I said, my grandmother was discharged from the hospital. She was there from Monday through yesterday and or Wednesday, and so I've just been busy doing setting up her follow-up appointments and driving. I picked her up from the airport, from the hospital, and just made sure she was settled back at home, and I'm very grateful. So I'm going to segue into that, being grateful and being full of gratitude for the things that you do, that you are given in this life. It's just taken that time to really to be in that energy, to be of that mindset, to understand your motivation. And a lot of people, we were talking about masks. I was talking about masks yesterday on my other video, how we all play different roles. And sometimes you will on occasion have to deal with people that wear that aren't who they say they are, aren't showing who they are. They're not showing their cards, let's say. And sometimes these people that you deal with just don't know any better. That's really all I could say. They don't have a foundation of who they are. They don't understand the consequences of their actions, or if they do, or if they have an inkling that there will be consequences. Things like money, things like material things, things like instant gratification come into play. And again, we're not judging them. It's just where they are. So I hope this helps. I'm not going to go into, I'll probably do another video on how to deal with that. Most of the time you have to remove yourself from people like that, because although you would love them, for them to change, we're not responsible for that. In fact, that is part of our journey here on earth, is that we develop ourselves. We do help people, but we can't make people do something, especially when they tell you that they do not want to change. And I've had experiences where a person, a partner has told me that he did not want to change, and what can you do with that? You have to move forward. It's disappointing, especially having that level of intelligence, yet not having the wisdom. So you could have an intelligent person, but they could lack that wisdom for, I would say, more of, I don't know, I mean, I could only guess why people would act that way. Of course, it's none of my business, and I don't want to put too much, and you shouldn't either. You shouldn't try to figure people out that way, because unless it serves the collective, of course you could learn from that, you could understand that, but no one will really know people's motivations, because it encompasses a lot. It could be a level of maturity, it could be what their family focused on, how they grew up, emphasis more on material, choosing material money over love and relationships. It can be generational patterns of never having enough, coming from poverty, or that lack mindset. So if you're of that mindset where you have gratitude, you're grateful, and you always feel abundant. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have $10 in your bank account. There's a difference, right, from being poor and broke, right? So I know you guys heard that before, where you can be broke. It's like I could be broke, but I'm never poor. And I've heard that saying. My dad's said that all his life, I mean, he hasn't been, but coming from a different country, of course, he came here to have a better life. And we've never, even if we didn't have a lot of money at a certain point growing up, we never felt poor. Always felt abundant. So that's how I grew up. And, I'm not saying that everyone has, but I think especially today in our youth, sharing that, or reminding others that it's just your mindset. And I know it says not just your mindset, because that's a huge thing. These people are influenced by their parents, the parents that probably are still traumatized by not having money, or having to wear secondhand clothes growing up, or whatever situation. And again, I'm not downplaying anyone's childhood trauma, because it could be something like not having clothes, or having enough food, or a roof over your head growing up. Even today there are kids in school now that live in cars, or their families are homeless, and they go to school, and this is what children have to deal with. And naturally those are going to impact them in life if these issues aren't dealt with today. And they might not be able to deal with them, or have the resources, or the maturity, or the support to deal with those issues today, that could possibly, or more than likely, affect them later on in life. I mean, everyone does. Everyone remembers how those feelings of scarcity, or fear, or and it doesn't have to be anything material. It could be, you could be a new person in school, or the new person at work, when you're younger, and have those insecurities. And so again, that's why I really try to focus on going within, meeting your spiritual team halfway, asking for help, making connections with your creator. You could, and some of you make connections with your ancestors, your grandparents, your great-great-grandparents. Some people have that ability to do so. I feel like I communicate with my father and my grandmother on my mom's side all the time, and not always in my face, and interrupting my life or anything like that. It's always a blessing to me. But I feel very I feel very privileged to have that connection and that extra sense of myself, and I acknowledge it and I accept it. So I don't, again, know where you are on your path, but I just want to reiterate that, if you have a firm foundation, especially your spiritual foundation and your emotional foundation, and you know who you are, not anyone in the world will ever be able. They might shake it up a little bit. They might shake your foundation by when you learn, or if you learn, how that individual or that group or that family thinks, what they think about you, and if they've been talking about you and gossiping and spreading lies about you. That might be one thing. But if you know who you are, that kind of information should just bounce off of you and go back into the ethers, because that stuff shouldn't bother you, to your core. It really shouldn't bother you if you have a firm foundation. It is something that's helped me heal through many situations in my life, and I'm very grateful. And it's doing the work. It's because I've been doing the work after every relationship or every circumstance. I've felt through the emotions. I've done the work for almost, like 50 years, almost 50 years now. And anytime I've had these trials and these lessons and I'm grateful for them, because I wouldn't be, and also you have to be grateful for those traumatic events. I know some of it, a lot of it has been difficult. And again, everyone, this is not an easy place to be, our earth life. But if you're here, and obviously you're still listening, if you're still here listening to me, then you resonate with going through some pretty tough events in your life. And if you chose to do the work and work through it and not act out of anger or revenge or hate, and you were fair, being fair and not being deceitful and not betraying, and being able to say both sides of the situation and having that compassion, then you've learned the lessons and you have that strength, and you have the tools and the skills to move past. So like anything that comes your way is going to be like a walk in the park, right? So I'm not saying that everything is going to be smooth sailing, because it isn't. If we're still on earth, we're still here to continue to learn more. And for those of you that feel that you haven't made the best choices, and you perhaps you're going through it right now, maybe you're going through some karma in your life, maybe maybe you don't recognize it as karma, maybe you see it as you're just going through a hard time, and that could very well be the case, but this is a good place to be aware of what type of energy you're putting out there. And I know all my listeners, all my subscribers are doing the right thing, or they're trying their best. And again, I don't live my life perfectly. I try to do better every day, and we all have a past, but always being aware, or trying to always be aware, in that moment. I get it. Sometimes we forget, or sometimes this human emotion, our humanness comes out. We're always spiritual beings. Remember that we're always spiritual beings. We're spiritual beings having this beautiful physical experience, And we have so many resources in order to help us navigate smoothly. So check your attitude, check your intentions, check your evaluate your why you do things, and also what your actions. Because if you're hurting other people, and you're not taking into consideration, let me give you a quick example. If you're a big corporation drilling for oil, and maybe you could cut costs here, but that cost cutting has a potential to pollute the water, right? It's the same thing, like when you're dealing with people, and if you poison people, if you betray people to maybe get the profits or get ahead in life, there's always going to be that balancing. So we could avoid those things. I'm going to leave that with you. I hope you are putting good energy, uplifting others, doing the right thing, put out that good energy so that you could feel good about it, and you'll get that energy back, and especially because it's the right thing to do. We don't want to cause pain and trauma to other people, because sometimes you don't know who that person is to your creator. And I'm going to leave you with that. I love you guys. I hope this video made sense. Hopefully, I know I look really, really tired because I am. I'm just burning candles on both ends, but you know what? I'm grateful that I get up every morning, and I'm grateful that I still have breath, and I can breathe, and as long as I can, I will continue to put out content and try to uplift and send positive messages out to the collective and all of you guys. Okay, I'll see you soon.